In Part 1 of this series, we explained what grievances are, how to recognize them, and why it is important to have a grievance handling procedure in place. In this video, we will share with you the features of a good grievance handling procedure, how to handle a grievance, and who should be involved. Let's get started. Here is a typical grievance handling procedure. When an employee brings up a grievance to his supervisor, the supervisor should try to resolve the issue or seek clarification with the aggrieved employee within a reasonable time frame of about 5 days. If there is resolution, the supervisor should then inform the employee and close the case. But if the employee is dissatisfied and would like to appeal to HR or a higher authority, he or she must have the right to do so. Each level of appeal should ideally have a reasonable time frame for the authority to communicate and resolve the grievance with the employee. But what happens if the grievance is about the employee's supervisor? In this case, the employee could seek assistance from the HR manager or a trusted management member. Now that you are familiar with how to set up a proper grievance handling procedure, let us move on to how you should handle grievances. Ensure that you communicate the grievance handling procedure to all your employees through the employee handbook, orientation programs, company circulars, memos, or collective agreements. Companies should explain to their employees the need for a grievance handling procedure. Employees should also understand that the identity of the person who made the report and the accompanying details will be kept strictly confidential. Finally, employees should be assured that no disciplinary action will be taken against them if they choose to appeal to a higher authority within the company. Individual grievance handling. In most situations, supervisors may be faced with an employee with a grievance who walks in without prior notice. As the supervisor, you may be caught off guard, but your role is to listen, empathize, and clarify the situation. In walk-ins, supervisors may be able to address simple and straightforward grievances. If it is a complex issue, the grievance handler should inform the aggrieved employee on the next course of action and its time frame. If you receive a written complaint, you might want to send an acknowledgement note to inform the employee that you will look into the matter. In the meantime, identify the key issues and understand the situation before meeting him or her within the stipulated timing in the grievance handling policy. Again, timeliness is key as it shows that you are concerned and you take employees' feedback seriously. When meeting aggrieved employees, it is important that the environment is conducive for a personal and confidential conversation to take place. You should set aside sufficient time to talk and listen to the employee and to gather more information. Do your best to make the employee feel at ease and encourage the sharing of complete information without any fear or discomfort. Remember, it is important for you to be an active listener. Allow the employee to share the situation and refrain from making judgments. Watch your body language and clarify the details if necessary. Be empathetic. It will also be helpful if you remain open-minded and explore different ways to resolve the grievance. Close the conversation by letting the aggrieved employee know what follow-up steps will be taken and when you will get back to him or her. Make sure that you handle the follow-up tasks in a timely manner. Finally, assure your employee that all conversations will be kept confidential. This is important to build trust between you and your employees. Group grievance handling. We have looked at handling individual grievances. What if the grievance was brought up by a group of employees? When faced with a large group of disgruntled employees, communication is key. It is imperative that management holds a communication session with these employees as soon as possible to avoid the situation from getting out of hand, which could lead to major disruptions in business. To prepare for the communication session, you should consider: what was the event or trigger that created this situation? Why did these events occur? What was the source of the unhappiness? Who were affected and in what manner? What will be done to improve the situation? What assurance will be given to employees that they are being taken care of? When meeting the group of aggrieved employees, consider: timeliness of information sharing, consistency in information sharing by the management team, openness to feedback and suggestions from employees, regular updates as part of resolution, effectiveness of the channel for communication. Who should handle grievances? Besides HR practitioners, your company should also consider and train supervisors to be grievance handlers. Grievance handlers should understand company policies well and are familiar with ground sentiments and common issues that employees may face. As representatives of management, supervisors play a vital role in managing grievances. In selecting grievance handlers, think about how they would be in the hot seat when speaking with disgruntled employees. The grievance handler has to be composed and professional, be neutral and objective, be accurate and clear in documentation, use an inclusive approach to handle aggrieved employees. What role does management play? Management can start by gaining the trust of employees and building a good relationship with them. They also need to provide safe channels for grievances to be raised in confidence. The grievance handling procedure adopted in the company should allow grievances to be handled fairly and objectively. Training should be made available for managers and supervisors to manage feedback and grievances. Sounds like a lot? Think of how your investment in your employees' well-being will bring about higher employee morale, better retention, and better teamwork. If your company is unionized, do work with your trade union to draw up a grievance handling procedure. Your union leaders will also be able to assist by representing aggrieved employees and help build better relationships between you and your employees. Let's summarize what we have learned from this module. We looked at the features of a grievance handling procedure which should result in timely resolution of grievances. It must allow employees to make appeals to higher authorities where the need arises. We also shared tips on how to handle individual and group grievances, and how the role of management is critical to create a good working environment, building on trust and care for employees. For more information, you may download from TAFEP's website the Grievance Handling Handbook and the Implementation Guide for the Tripartite Standard on Grievance Handling. If you have any other questions, just drop us an email and we will contact you shortly. Thank you for watching this video. Look out for more videos on the Tripartite Standards.